let me give a content warning and a trigger warning, okay, for police violence and police brutality because this story out of Mississippi is just particularly bad and egregious. So, um, let me get to it. So, this actually happened in February, and I want us to pull up, Will, if we could, let's pull up, is that a Mississippi Today piece? The first article that's on the dock. Bagheera, it's too early for you to be tapping in front out in my thing now. Cut it out. So there was a press conference a couple of weeks ago held by an attorney down in Mississippi who is representing a pair of black men who were reportedly raided by Mississippi police, were handcuffed, beaten, waterboarded, and then one of them was actually shot. And the reasons given were that these black men were allegedly dating white women, okay? Which is, I'm sorry, in 2023, the police can still, is miscegenation law still on the book down there in Mississippi? They probably are. I mean, shit, Mississippi just acknowledged and ratified, I believe it was the 13th Amendment less than 10 years ago, right? Probably an even shorter duration than that. Because of the way that the attorney for these men actually described the situation, I am going to defer to the clip of the attorney to do that. So we are going to hear from the attorney representing Michael Jenkins. Okay. Mr. Jenkins actually was disabled by this encounter with police, and his lawyer, I believe, is named Malik Shabazz. So I want us to hear from Mr. Shabazz and let him do the descriptions because I think he tells it way better than I could. And obviously, he's the attorney, so he's well versed in the details. Are you guys familiar with this story? And let me shout out to Comrade Kwame. This is a story Comrade Kwame sent me again a couple weeks ago, but y'all know COVID jumped on me, so I couldn't do nothing. At least I assume. I don't know what the fuck jumped on me, to be honest. But anyway, let's look at that video, Will, from the attorney representing Michael Jenkins as he describes the torture and the abuse and the subsequent maiming by police that his client endured. Let's take a look.
Mississippi cops torture and shoot Michael Jenkins in the mouth and attempt to murder him while he's handcuffed. Folks, policing continues to get incredibly worse. On January 23rd in Rankin County, Mississippi, without showing a warrant, cops burst into a home. Two black men lay inside, Brother Michael Jenkins and Brother Terrell. They were falsely accused by the 6 white officers of dating white women and selling drugs, and that wasn't true. The two were immediately subdued and handcuffed in the residence. But instead of taking the handcuffed men into immediate custody for their alleged crime, the 6 white cops decided they would hold the men hostage and terrorize them for nearly 2 hours inside the home. While the men were handcuffed and bound, these 6 Rankin County white cops beat the men while they were handcuffed, tased the men repeatedly while they were handcuffed, punched, slapped, and beat the men while they were handcuffed, and incredibly, the white officers used waterboarding tactics in this raid. I'm talking about waterboarding. Waterboarding is when you have a person in your custody and you pour water or liquid all over their faces while they're on their back so that the person you have in custody will believe they will drown and confess something to you. This technique was outlawed by the U.S. military when they illegally used it in Iraq. Then in the course of this torture and physical abuse and humiliation, Rankin County sheriffs were both putting guns to both men's head, threatening to kill them while handcuffed. Then tragedy struck when one of the sheriffs shot Michael Jenkins in the mouth. Yes, the cop shot Michael in his mouth, almost killing him, causing him life-threatening injuries, and Michael is in ICU and had to have his tongue removed from his mouth. Now, Michael and his family are decent folks. Black Lawyers for Justice and myself will be at the.
Mm. So that video was older, and the event that the attorney there was about to front sell has already transpired, and they announced that attorney there, attorney Shabazz, did announce that they intend to file suit. Now, what has happened? So the Rankin County sheriff made a brief statement, or released a brief statement that was about 5 sentences long. It was very curt. It did not acknowledge any wrongdoing on behalf of his officers, or his deputies, rather. But it did say that Rankin County, Mississippi, has asked the Mississippi Bureau of Investigations to come in and investigate this incident. And I'm sure that their report will be worth about the same amount that the toilet paper that hangs next to your shitter is. You could probably wipe your ass with that Mississippi Bureau of Investigations report about this incident. But apparently, the FBI has been tasked to get involved here, and they are supposedly starting a federal probe into this incident specifically. And, when I was listening to the attorney there describe the horrific abuse and torture suffered by Michael and Terrell, um, all I could hear was Secretary of State Anthony Blinken accusing Russia of war crimes and crimes against humanity. And I can only imagine, honestly, the chuckle or the outright boisterous laughter that America's enemies around the world let out whenever America, of all places, attempts to chastise anybody about human rights, about treating citizens or people that are in your custody, treating them with respect, with dignity. When has America ever done that for its black citizens, its black residents, its native residents, its native citizens? Never. The answer is never. The answer is never. This is routinely how America gets down, from its military to its federal officers to its local law enforcement. Black people do not have any rights, civil, constitutional, or human, that law enforcement is bound to respect. Roger Taney, the Supreme Court Justice, who has a town named after him in Maryland called Taney Town. The Negro has no rights that any white man is bound to respect. That was codified into American jurisprudence. And guess what? They still abide by that shit. The Negro has no rights that any white man is bound to respect. You dating white women, we can come and kick in your door, handcuff you, torture you, shoot you in the mouth, leave you permanently disabled. Mr. Jenkins, as the attorney said there, had to have his tongue removed. Mr. Jenkins is unable to speak, though apparently he does communicate with his family through writing and gesturing. But I'm sorry. Again, another instance in which someone was rendered disabled, permanently disabled, by an encounter with police. And are these police in custody? No. Have they been charged with anything? No. Do they get to go home to their families each and every day? Yes. Do they still get to collect a paycheck from the state? Yes. Because black people are not humans in the eyes of this system. We certainly are not citizens, and we've never been treated as such, which is, again, why I have no respect for this goddamn country. That's why I say burn this bitch down. Burn it down. Burn it down. How can we, as African people, as black people, be expected to have any sort of reverence or love or patriotism or anything for America? Because we all know what happened to Mr. Jenkins could happen to us, could happen to our brothers, could happen to our cousins, could happen to our nephews, could happen to our best friends. None of us are special out here in the eyes of America, nor in the eyes of its racist law enforcement system. We are all eligible and susceptible. I'm talking about we all blacks. I don't the y'all whites. It works different. It works different from the whites. Again, because you could just play white. You feel me? Like I mean, well, if you white, you don't have to play, but you understand what I'm saying. You could white it up very easily and get yourself out of a situation that a black person just by default of them having black skin is not able to do. We do not have the ability to always be able to do that. Depending on where you are, yes, the circumstances may vary. But if you in a certain place, they don't care how light, how dark, how well articulated, they don't give a fuck. Are you black? You have no rights. They will treat you accordingly. They will treat us accordingly. So this is a story that I expect really everybody to try to keep up on. I saw Rolly had talked about this. I saw that some other, black YouTube channels had brought this up. And that's the only reason I'm bringing this up. So when we clip this, it goes back into the algorithm. Not that YouTube it recognizes us over here in the algorithm, but who knows? It could get, picked up and hopefully continue to raise questions and garner some sort of accountability for what happened to Mr. Jenkins and to his friend. I actually, once Black Power Media comes off timeout, it would be nice to actually speak to Attorney Shabazz because I'm sure he has a lot to offer surrounding this, and I would just like to know more. But from what we do know, this is absolutely horrific. It is reminiscent of a different time in America, but at the same time, are there really different times in America? There are times when the racism and the violence surrounding racism it flares up and it flares less. I won't say down or out, but it ebbs and flows. Let's put it that way. But the racial violence that black men in particular have always faced for any kind of interracial dealings, it's very unfortunate and sad and disgusting and very telling to find out that that sort of hate is being enacted against black men specifically for dating white women. And guys, by the way, I mean y'all date who y'all want. I don't care. I don't care. I'm from Howard County. I'm quite accustomed to it. Love who you love. It's all good. You if y'all want to date white girls, it's fine. But watch yourself, especially if you in certain places, because somebody is not gonna like that shit. And I guarantee you, it's not a black woman who ran up in there with a problem with the brothers dating the white women. It was the white man who six white men to be precise, who had a big problem with the brothers dating the white gal. So y'all just, be on your P's and Q's with your interracial datings out there, depending on where y'all.